Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy David H, and welcome back to the Clearance Rack Podcast. And before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to shout out our very first sponsor right here in the Clearance Rack. It is Flavio D Photography. He's Boston-based, but travels worldwide. One of the best wedding photographers, also does events in this city and anywhere you need him to be. High-end, luxury, timeless, emotional, everything you're needing. So if you're looking for a wedding photographer or just a photographer to photograph your event, definitely check out FlavioDphotography.com. Make sure you go support him and check him out. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode. And today, we got an exclusive episode because we are not only talking to somebody who is an exclusive person in my book, but we are also in an exclusive location. I'm not gonna tell you right yet where we're at, but we're gonna get into it. But first and foremost, let me introduce a friend, a brother. I consider him family. I've known him for years, not long enough to date back when he had hair, but I still known him for a long time, all the way back to when he was just, you know, a club promoter. That was just it. But now he has grown into this I don't even know the word, but this excellent black, he has really embodied black excellence and been able to level up his game in the nightlife space into working with a major liquor brand that we're going to get into, and also now is part owner of his very own establishment, which we are in right now. Without further ado, it is my pleasure, my honor to introduce the one and only Boston Rob, also known as Rob Eugene. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
right here
me.
in the Clearance Rack, man.
Appreciate it.
No, it's
sorry it took so long to get here.
Yeah, you know, you're busy. You know, I had to call your secretary, who then put me in touch with your publicist, who then said you got to call somebody. I was just like, listen, I ain't got no time for that. But no, honestly, man, thank you so much for joining us here.
My pleasure.
How you feel, man?
I'm good.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
Stay with a crispy pear on me.
You know,
still ain't giving up the plug. You know what I mean?
Listen, if we're the same size, I got you.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
okay.
That's probably.
just ask your plug for a size 10. We're gonna get into all your history, your past, present, and future. But first, I want to address, where are we right now?
So we are in HUE Boston, located in the Back Bay. So HUE, the name, people have been asking me where I get HUE, so it's a double entendre. HUE as in shades of color, and then it's actually the address, Huntington and Exeter, right on the corner.
Fancy.
So we're
Look
at
at
the
this man. This man, look, he don't miss.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Stay with his thinking cap on.
So, you know, to me it was important that the staff, management, ownership is reflective of like the city of Boston.
Yeah.
So when I say HUE as in color, like I want it to be representative of everyone. So.
All right. So you said what HUE means, but what is HUE? Because people don't even know. I think they have rumblings. The inside people know.
Yeah.
Some of your closest friends and allies, but
yeah.
Tell people what HUE is.
So HUE will be a bar and supper club. We have 2 floors. We're located in the Copley Square Hotel. So right now we're downstairs. There's a bar upstairs which will serve as a lobby bar. And then down here, the space where we're in is the supper club. And across, basically at the other room is a speakeasy. So focusing more on mixology in that other space. And,
we're not going to give everybody a full preview yet because there's still work being done. But from everything I'm seeing so far, this is amazing, man.
Thank you.
Kudos to you and your team, because
I appreciate
this is a real full-fledged venture into like an actual dope spot, man. Like the lighting, the colors, the patterns, you know, everything is right, man.
You know, it took a lot of time to pull this together. Our designer, Kristen, she's amazing. This is actually her first commercial space.
Wow.
So we took a long time picking colors and wallpaper, and
she and the team did a great job, man.
Thank you.
I can't wait till it opens. You're gonna have like burgers and onion rings here. We ain't gonna tell you what they got yet. We'll get into that a little later. First and foremost, though, what I want to do is I know everybody knows you. You're pretty much the unofficial mayor. But to those who may not know who you are, if you had to describe, just tell the people who you are and describe what you do.
So born and raised in Boston. I would say born and bred. But grew up in Dorchester.
But shout out to Brett.
Yeah, shout out to Brett. Facts. Grew up in Dorchester. I've been in Boston all my life. It's funny, everyone always asks what made me stay. I just felt like there's so much that needed to change here, and that, you know, I could be that change, or at least help impact the change in the city. So if you follow my trajectory, that's all I've been doing since I started. you know, I went to BU for undergrad. That's where I started throwing parties. I guess you could say that's where I started promoting.
Yeah.
And then I had got my like first big break, so to say, at Blue Wave.
Shout out to the Wave.
Shout out to Blue Wave, man.
Oh my goodness.
You know, that just kind of set me apart from like, you know, doing it as a hobby to like taking it seriously. And at one point I was just doing that full time.
Yeah.
I was at Blue Wave for, I think it's either 8 or 10 years, Saturday nights hosting there.
And just for those that don't know, having a night in the city or any city for that long, especially in a major city where there's so many options to party, having a night that ran its course for 10 years?
Yeah, just under 10.
Oh, just under 10 years is major, man. And that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, and then especially at that time, because, you know, there wasn't a lot for us to do. You know, hip-hop was still a little faux pas, and like, you know, if you wanted to go out, you had to wear dress shoes and a button-up shirt.
Oh, I remember.
It was like,
it was ugly.
You had to dress like you're going to church to go to a nightclub.
And back then it's funny because the style choices back then, like, we were literally just trying to get in the club. It wasn't about like, oh, how does this look? It was like, oh, I gotta get some hard bottoms, some slacks, and a button up. So it's like, I don't care what it looked like, just give it to me so I can get in the club.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible, bro. So 2000 fashion was kind of whack.
Yeah, it was. And then that's when they came out with like the Prada shoe sneaker.
Oh man, yo, which is crazy full circle because those are back and they're popular.
It's so funny.
I used to have like 4 pair of those in diesels.
In diesels, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Durangos
the
too.
less expensive option.
You had some Durangos?
I did have Durangos.
Oh my goodness.
Fry boots, actually.
We're gonna put up
I went fry.
Oh, we're gonna put up a picture right here. You were surprised, bro. I can't believe we had heels on, bro.
Man, listen.
It was a different time, the 2000s.
It was definitely a different time.
Nah, but I mean, that was major, man. And I mean, again, anybody in our generation, even like a little older, a little younger, knew of Blue Wave.
Yeah, I mean, I established so many relationships there. Some friends I still have now to this day. I think I was responsible for a lot of relationships. I think a lot of people met each other there and later on got married. Yeah. Maybe later broke up, I don't know. But, you know, they met there. It was literally like a go-to every Saturday. If you weren't there by like 11:30, you weren't getting in. Yeah, you wasn't getting in. And it was smaller. It was a smaller space. Yeah. But I mean, it had the energy of a huge club. Absolutely. Which was crazy. Yeah, and then, you know, music was always important to me, so I was always made sure like the music dictated the crowd versus the crowd dictating the music.
Yeah.
So, like,
and it was always a good vibe. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? There was obviously other clubs in Boston, in the city.
Yeah, but they weren't doing like R&B and neo soul. Like I always started with that. Shout out to Playtime. Shout out to Paulo, DJ Radio P. Sorry. You know, creating that vibe, slowly escalating, and, you know, hitting that climax around 12, and bringing it back down slowly.
I remember.
And making sure everybody left safely, you know.
Nah, it was a dope time. It was a dope time, man. Yeah. So just real quick, how did you even get into that space of nightlife?
So in college, my freshman year, there was a group that was throwing parties like on campus and off. They would do like one every semester. And then I was like, yo, like, let me get down. I was like, you guys are not from Boston. Yeah. I'm from Boston. I can bring a whole different crowd to this experience, and, you know.
And this was on campus?
This was on campus. Okay. But then, you know, we connected with this gentleman named Steve Fruman. I don't even know how we met him, but he was like our booking agent for the clubs. So like, he would get the space. We would go through him to book the space. We would tear him off, whatever it was, for finding the spot, and then we work out a deal where we kept the door and they would just keep the bar. So,
young entrepreneurs, man.
Yeah,
just trying to get it together.
And then it was like, you know, our parties were like United Nations, man. Yeah. The group itself was like Black, Filipino, Mexican, Indian. Like our crew was like so diverse that whenever we had a party, it was just like, it was all about the music. It was always hip hop, and then, you know, we were able to just continue to do that. And I figured out that was my passion, man. I really enjoyed bringing people together. I was good at it. And so the opportunity at Blue Wave actually came through Herbie. I don't know if you know Herbie?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, well, you know Herbie. Herbie's that guy. You see him all the time. You may not know who he is, but he's out and about. He's been in the fashion world, dabbled in like designing, and anyway, lived in the neighborhood, reached out. He's actually Eddie's cousin. Okay. He's like, hey, you know, Eddie's working on this thing over here. You know, we're looking for some promoters. Would you be interested in coming in? I was like, yeah, you know, I'm interested.
And this, you were still doing the parties?
No, I had already graduated. So at this point, I had graduated from BU. This was like maybe a year or two after college.
Okay.
So
you had an office job back then?
Yeah, I was working full time during college, man. I worked at.
First of all, anybody who knows Rob, I just feel like obviously, well, now he has multiple jobs, but I can't imagine you working in nobody's office.
Oh yeah.
You just are not the office type.
Yeah, man. Listen, I worked an office job starting my sophomore year in high school. Every summer I was doing like a summer internship, and it was like healthcare related. So Harvard Pilgrim, Harvard Vanguard. Beth Israel Deaconess, Spalding Rehab. So I worked all these different places.
Damn. So if you didn't get the call from her, you might be you might be head of HR somewhere right now at Harvard Pilgrim,
or working in accounting. I don't know.
Damn.
I mean, yeah, it was crazy.
Well, in another lifetime.
In another lifetime, yeah.
So you got down with Blue Wave, and obviously you kept that rocking for 10 years.
Yeah.
But you also then evolved that. You also evolved from just working at that one particular place to multiple events over the city. And how did that work out?
So basically, you know, I guess you could say my notoriety started to build a little bit. People knew I had established an existing night that was doing well. Yep. So I think the next place I did something was maybe like Venue or it used to be Rumor.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to put on one successful like nightlife series, but I mean, you pretty much touched almost every club in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, from Venue, from Blue Wave, Bijou. Did you do Aria back in the day?
I think I had already switched to Cure by the time I got
Rumor?
to
It was a couple nights at Rumor.
Yeah, Rumor.
And shout out to that because I feel like we met. We met because I used to be on the radio.
Yep.
And you know, at one point I was the cool guy, still the cool guy, trying to be the cool guy, or I'm close to the cool guy. And I used to host parties.
Yeah.
And at first I was just doing promotions, and I used to hand out CDs and stuff outside for the radio station.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got cool enough to get on the radio, and that's how we just bonded our relationship, and how we formed our relationship. You was always the cool promoter, like, you know what I mean? The cool one, always, you know, easy going, soft spoken, never had no problem paying me, which was nice. You didn't disappear at the end of the night like some of the promoters that I will mention right now.
I was never a janky promoter.
Damn.
I
can attest to that. But
you know, I think my longevity has been just being like saying what I mean and mean what I say. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna try to.
And I mean, that's dope. And I think one of the things why you've probably been able to last this long is because of your sincerity in what you do, and that you've always been honest. Yeah. And just try to do good business.
Yeah, because I always try to explain this to people, like, you're never going to get rich off of one event. It's all about longevity. So you always got to think long term. So it's like, is it really going to kill you to let this person in free today? It's not really going to make a difference. Like, cool, I got you. Yeah. You know, the next time or whatever. But you know how it is. Like, certain people, I would say Boston is, I call it the city of entitlement. Everybody thinks they should be free.
Everybody. That's what I was just about to ask. on an average night, when you're doing an event, how many times does your phone ring to get the call? Yo, Rob, I'm out front. Yo, I'm out front. I'm in line. Rob, yo, come to the door.
Honestly, at this point, it doesn't happen much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've already like trained people. Like, listen, this is what it is.
Yeah. If the logistics have gotten a lot smoother.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a old machine at this point, like especially now with like Silk. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I was gonna say to you, not to cut you off, but I mean, like, you've had such a long history that's lasted multiple generations of people going out in the city. Absolutely. From when we were going out, nightlife, like Rumor, Bijou, Rumor, District, all those places. To moving into a more modern space to where we are now with Silk. I mean, you've literally been able to evolve in this game and stay in this game, and talk about how you've done that, because so many promoters that I've just known over the years, I don't even see them no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not, maybe they just tried other things. Yeah. But you've been able to last and be successful. And what do you attribute that to?
I think I've always been honest with myself and not try to be something I'm not. Like, I couldn't right now throw a party that was like trap or trill or whatever they call it these days. Like, that is not something I enjoy. Yeah. I couldn't even tell you if I heard a song who the artist was anymore.
Nah, you ain't bumping Lil Shmooky Dookie? Little fade, head top fade?
Way too many littles. But yeah, so it was like, you know, DJ Real P started Silk.
Yeah.
way back. I can't even remember what year, but he was doing it at the W in a smaller space.
Shout out to Real P.
Yo, for real, man.
Yeah.
And I had been to a few of them. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like, this is me. Like, R&B all day. Anybody knows me, automatically I'm going R&B on the playlist.
Yeah, you're always off-key singing in the back. Always trying. You know what I'm saying? So it's a natural progression that you had to get down with
If I get the aux, it's going to R&B. But, so, you know, I reached out to him during quarantine. I was like, listen, I was like, I think this is something special. I was like, let me hop on with you. Let me work with you and help and grow this thing. Like, this has so much, there's so much potential for this to grow. And we had a good conversation. I was like, La Fabrica was interested. I talked to Renato, my guy Renato. He's like, all R&B? Like, you sure that's all you're gonna play? I was like, all R&B. I was like, listen, I was like, you gotta be a real, like, asshole to mess up an R&B party. Like,
and there's a few, but you know they just they're older and they stay at home now.
Yeah, so you know, I talked to Real P about it. He's like, let's do it. So we did, I think maybe 4 months of Silk at La Fabrica. And then, like, after the third one, I was like, yo, I want to get this into Big Night. Like, that's my goal. Like, you know.
And real quick, before you go into that, just in case we didn't touch on it and people may not fully understand, what is Silk?
So Silk is an all R&B party. So our motto is all R&B, all night, all love. So, like, literally, it's just about...
It's just vibes.
It's community. It's love. Like, I mean... We're really trying to bring as many people together as possible, which is why I thought it was important for it to continue to grow. So many people were missing out when it was only a 200 capacity room. It grew a little bit to 400 or 500 with La Fabrica, and now to be at Big Night Live, which is about a 2,000 capacity, is just amazing. Like,
and how did you leverage turning this event and getting it in a space like Big Night Live? Because I mean, again, to those who may not know, I mean, you were in a smaller venue, like you said, 400 or 500, which is still a pretty big space for a club. But now you're in a space like Big Night Live, and your event, Silk, gets it just as packed as if there was a big name artist there.
We're still turning people away.
That's what I'm saying.
2,000 capacity. Like,
so I mean,
So I'll rewind a little bit. So just after my tenure at Blue Wave, this position at Hennessy came about for Team Hennessy. Shout out to Julian, by the way. Julian, Team Pollard, my boxing coach. So he was working for the distributor at the time, Martinetti, United Liquors actually, and he was representing Hennessy. So when the job came about, he's like, yo, I think you would be perfect for this role. Like, you know everybody in the city, you're a promoter, like they're looking for an influencer. Like this could be you.
Shout out Julian.
Yeah, so I applied. And I got an interview. It was a phone interview. Went terribly. When I tell you terrible, it was supposed to be at like noon, and then the woman Ari was like, at the time she was running the program, she's like, oh, can we push it back to like 3 p.m.? I'm like, okay, I'll make it work. Now the kids are home. Alex was just born at the time, my little one. Now she's 11, which is crazy. So I'm trying to like manage the two of them. You know, Alyssa's, what at the time, maybe 4 or 5. I mean, wow, time flies. So I'm trying to manage them and take this interview at the same time. And
you hadn't been interviewing for a while at this point.
I had not had an interview.
Do you even have a resume? Because I mean, like, what do you put on the like club promoter?
Mean, for that, I had to put like down the relationships I had in the city. That was kind of like, it was a very, informal resume, but I had to show like what I had done. So I didn't get the call back initially.
Damn.
They interviewed a few other people in the city. Those people got called to New York. I was like, yo, when I tell you I was down on myself, like, I can't believe I missed this opportunity. Because I had done a lot with Hennessy regionally on my own through like promoting parties and getting local sponsorship through the distributor. So like, I was already Team Hennessy whether or not I had got the job. Like I had done so much already. So I just knew it was the right fit for me. So then, they weren't thrilled about whoever had come to interview in New York. So they go back to the distributor. Julian reiterates, like, I'm telling you, Rob's the guy. Like, just interview him in person. Maybe he didn't do well on the phone, but like, give him another shot. So I get the call to come to New York. I missed the flight.
Damn,
I missed the flight.
At this point, you seeming like more of like a St. Ides representative or like private stock. I mean, bro, you just mess it up too much, bro.
So. When I tell you it was the worst traffic I had ever seen get into the Logan Airport, it was like raining, it was pouring. I'm surprised the flight even left on time.
There was just everything was working against you.
Working against me. So I called my wife and I'm like, I'm gonna miss this flight. She's like, all right, let me see when the next one's out. She's like, all right, there's another one on this airline. Just book it. Like, we'll pay for it out of pocket. You'll get there like maybe 30 minutes or an hour late. I was like, all right, cool. When I get on the plane, I call the hiring manager. I was like, Aria, I missed my flight, but I'm on another plane now, so I'll be there by this time. She's like, boy, you are lucky I'm already crossing this bridge, because she lived in Jersey at the time. She's like, I'll see you when you get there. I was like, all right.
Wow.
And then I get in the room, and I smash it. Like, everything they asked, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. I walked out of there. I was like, I know I got this job. And then I got the call maybe a week later, like, we want to offer you the position. It wasn't ideal at the time. It was only part-time. It was like expected like 20 hours a week. Salary was not it, but I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, because on top of me promoting, I can leverage this and make it, you know.
Exactly.
And that's what I did. And then literally a year later, it became a full-time job, and the program just continued to grow. And I mean, I tell you, team, joining that program has changed my life, man. It's been amazing.
I think now it's almost also become part of your identity.
Yeah, it's funny, like, I'm either Hennessy Rob or Rob Hennessy.
I mean, if you cut you probably just like bleed Hennessy. You and like Radio P and Playtime just cut y'all and like Hennessy leak out.
Like I was saying, I was gonna be Team Hennessy regardless. I was already, you know,
one way or the other.
One way or another, I was Team Hennessy.
So Silk is going well, obviously at La Fabrica, and it's growing. It grew from the W to La Fabrica. How did you manage to then grow it and get it into a space like Big Night Live? Because for those that don't know, I mean, you're selling out a space that like Pusha T comes into and sells out. And like your parties are rivaling that in terms of capacity. So how did that happen?
So through Team Hennessy, I've established relationships and accounts throughout the city, some outside of, like you mentioned earlier, Bijou, Venue, Icon. Big Night Entertainment Group is like a conglomerate in the city. Like they own, I would say, a minimum of 10 restaurants, nightclubs, bars in the city. I'm sure it's more. But out of my account list, Big Night was one, The Grand, Memoir, Mystique, Empire. So by me hosting like dinners and private events in these spaces, I established a rapport with everywhere I went. I met the manager, beverage director, you know, and everyone just got to know who I was. I took care of everyone the same. I spoke to the staff, like people who I didn't know knew who I was just because of how I was moving. And like, and I think a big difference was like, you know, during quarantine, they had a couple of restaurants still open, and I made sure I was still present in those spaces when, you know, a lot of people weren't. And so when I came with this idea of like having Silk at Big Night, my guy Keenan over there was like, you know what, Rob, we're gonna give you a shot. He's like, let's do it. He's like, let's roll the dice, let's see what you can do. And if it works, it works.
I mean, that's major.
Yeah, it was.
Because again, just in case people don't understand, I mean, this is a concert venue. Like, there aren't too many parties that just happen there.
And what's crazy is they hadn't used anybody locally to host an event there. Because, I mean, for the most part, it's a partnership between Live Nation and Big Night Entertainment Group, which is a Big Night Live comes from. So if it wasn't a traveling event or concert or a traveling party, it typically wouldn't happen in this space. So it was really like a unique opportunity that was given to us. And you know, we just took full advantage of it. It's funny because the tickets started out moving really slow. Like, you know our people, nobody buys stuff on time, like right away. It's like, people gotta know it's gonna be hot before they pull the trigger.
They want to like open the door and like look in, like, all right, I'll go in.
Exactly. So the tickets went on sale maybe like a month ahead of the party, and I think we maybe sold like 50 the first like 2 weeks.
And so, which means you need to sell about over 1,900 more.
Exactly. In about 2 weeks. So
and that's an uphill battle.
Absolutely. And on top of that, there's 26 tables in the venue.
Wow.
Which is what really makes it a unique space, because it's a hybrid between a house of blues and a nightclub, which I think, you know, which I really like personally. People our age want to have their own space and book tables and still enjoy a show, which I think it's, you know, what sets them apart. And then once the table started moving, like the tickets started moving, like the buzz started to get going, and it was like, and then the peak, like the jump from, it was a Thursday night too, by the way, the first one was on a Thursday. So that Wednesday started to move up. And then Thursday, it was like, it just spiked. It was just through the roof. And then we ended up selling out before the doors even opened.
Damn. And I mean, that's a major accomplishment. I've definitely been to
March early of Wait. Yeah.
Of 2022?
Yeah, that was March because we just had our third one, so that was March.
Yeah, and so I've been to 2 of them, and I gotta say, I mean, it's an experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going out in the city and like going to clubs, and I mean, we've all been to clubs.
Yeah.
Most of us have been to clubs, and like after a while, it grows tired.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? It just kind of feels stale. But I think again, Silk is just a different feeling.
Absolutely.
And I think the R&B specifically adds to that feeling, and it just makes everybody feel a little bit more at ease.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to worry about like Nuck If You Buck coming on,
right,
somebody like trying to elbow you and stuff.
Absolutely.
And, you know what I mean? It's just a different vibe. So I definitely recommend anybody who's out in the city to go check out the next Silk. Holla at my man Rob if you say you want to get it free, because he just said he don't mind giving a couple of tickets away. So just mention my name for a discount of 4 cents.
Yeah.
That's about all you're gonna get.
And then the growth of it, like people are traveling from out of state now to come support as well, which
and I
is
mean,
amazing.
again, and I think that's a testament to your longevity in this business, people trusting you, and also how you've been able to leverage your relationship building.
Absolutely.
And I think people need to understand that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like who you are and how you move is everything.
Yep.
Like people are watching even when you don't think people are watching. So like if I always tell young people like how they manage their social media. Like if you take a look at mine, I am Boston, by the way. It's super clean. Like I'm very conscious of what I post.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm posting,
and you're a little bit of a perfectionist too.
I do have OCD.
Like Rob be like, oh damn. Yeah, I go to take pictures and he's like, should I move this here? Should I move that there? But I mean, that's important.
No, absolutely. And
it's your brand.
And then even like in terms of like my engagement when I was part of Team Hennessy, I would talk about that later. Like I put a lot of thought into my captions.
Yeah.
Like it would take me an hour to post something. Like it's crazy. Like I would edit, I would go back, I would change it, I make sure that I'm saying the right thing.
Yeah.
Because you know everybody's posting pictures, but like when you have like a meaningful caption, like it's more, you know.
No, it matters.
It matters.
And again, I think that also speaks overall to your professionalism and your work ethic. You care.
I do care.
And I think it shows.
Yeah.
And that's why people embrace you and they support you.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious that when you care about something and you love it and you take that time to truly baby it and watch it grow into something that is grown into now, I mean, everybody sees that and wants to be a part of it.
Yeah, and then another thing that I do, I try to make as many personal connections as possible in my events. Like I'll literally walk to all 26 tables and say hello to whoever that head of the table is. Just if I don't know them already, I'll introduce myself.
And you pretty much know everybody
for the most part
at this time. Yeah.
And then like I wasn't able to attend the last one, but then I was like sending text messages to people that didn't know each other that were sitting next to each other, like, hey, this is my guy so-and-so. He's going to be sitting next to you. I want to make sure you guys meet each other because I won't be there to introduce you.
You're the connect, the plug, I mean, you're pretty much, again, the unofficial mayor of the city. I mean, there's few people that don't know you at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Politics in the future?
Nah, that's not for me.
They want to do too many background checks. Like, no. Let's move on. Anyway, speaking of R&B, like, you obviously have a love and a passion for music. Who are you listening to these days?
Oh,
you was just playing music before we started.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm still listening to 90s R&B and 2000s, but some new artists.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta evolve. I know you're an old head, but you gotta evolve. Head. There's some newer R&B artists out there.
Yeah, I like Brent Faiyaz.
Okay. Snow Allegra.
Snow, definitely.
Giveon,
yeah.
Her. I'm naming all the people you're supposed to be naming.
I know, but you are. I mean, if you put on my playlist, they're all on it. But like Giveon is definitely one of my favorites right now. Division, the album's kind of,
It's kind of fire.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the evolution of Silk and where you see it going. Do you ever anticipate trying to like maybe incorporate live R&B?
Yes, actually, we've attempted a few times to book some artists for the shows. Just scheduling didn't work out, but that's definitely in the plans.
If you need me to get up there, bust a couple moves,
I got you.
Hit a little something like that.
Absolutely.
I got you.
I know.
Discount too, like only like $4 million.
I see your Instagram. I see your reels.
Yeah. I'm out here. A little
bring
bit.
Bring the kids out as backup singers.
Boo! I won't do that to you. It'd be grand opening, grand closing of Silk.
Yeah.
No, we don't need that. But
but definitely that's in the. And then again, like I want it to continue to grow. Like eventually, I would love for Silk to become like a music festival, like something we could take outside.
And that'd be dope. That'd be dope. So the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much potential for it. Like we're not done yet by any means.
Now, for those people who see you in the club see sparklers coming to your tables with hundreds of bottles of Hennessy, they may just be like, yo, this dude really love Hennessy. But obviously, like you've explained, you actually work for Hennessy.
Yes.
And it's more than just having bottles come to the club.
Yeah.
Describe your role of, we already talked about how you got the job, but describe your role, what it was and what it is now.
Yeah, so when I first started, it was key account manager was the title. So it was really focused on sales in the night space. Yep. So really having an impact on moving cases. So visibility, so making sure Hennessy's on the back bar, menu placements, whether it's bottle service or cocktail menu, Hennessy's on there.
Yep.
And then, like you just described, the bottle parades, like everybody's looking, and it's like, oh, what's going over there?
Yeah.
Oh, I want that too.
Yeah. I always want that, but I can't afford that. So, I generally have diet soda coming out with sparklers on me. I think I've asked you for that before because I don't drink. You know what I mean? But one day when I get cool.
And then we've always had we do a good job of branding, like those elements of the bottle parades, like the signage. It's called POS, but we always did. Hennessy always does a great job with that. So it always stands out in the nightlife space.
Yeah.
So I went from that to becoming more of an influencer role. During quarantine, things kind of changed, and it was more social media driven, lifestyle focused. And now it's kind of like a hybrid of the two.
Yeah.
So lifestyle and also in the account space. We're hosting dinners, which is probably was my favorite part of the job.
Mine too, because I got to get some free food. Shout out to Hennessy.
Yeah, the privileged toast, which is now the VSOP toast.
Yeah.
But it was my opportunity to give flowers to people in the community, unsung heroes. We don't live in a place where it's star-studded and so. And not that they need extra attention anyway, but of course, I mean, they all deserve the accolades.
Yeah, and it's funny because some people think I think it's easy to look at some of these spirit brands or liquor brands and think they're just selling liquor to people and also trying to do some community work. But I was very surprised. I was doing a little research, because I'm a journalist, or at least I know how to Google. And I was very surprised to know that Hennessy has a long history supporting Black, just community. Period.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they were one of the first brands to hire Black models to be in their ads in the 50s.
Yeah.
They also were early supporter of the NAACP.
Yeah.
Also, another fun fact, they hired, at the height of the Civil Rights Movement, they hired an Olympian named Herb Douglas in 1963 to serve as the vice president of urban market development, and he ended up staying for 3 decades. So it's just not let's just hire a Black man and put him in position. Hennessy has been rooted in our community for a while.
Yeah, we were one of the first brands to market in Jet and Ebony magazines. So it's definitely been deeply rooted. It's not a new thing where we're just trying to give back to the community now. It's been very consistent.
And talk about I've had the honor or the privilege to go to some of these privileged toasts and actually get a bottle. Thank you very much. But talk about what that meant for the people, because I always the ones that I was at, it was always so nice to see people's reaction. People really felt good to just be recognized.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, there's so many people doing so many big things in the city that you may not know about, and no one's really giving them their flowers. And today, more than ever, I feel like it's important to give people their flowers while they're still alive. And
talk about real quick some of the people who were given a privileged toast.
Let's see, Janae Ulsterhead, I believe I said her last name right. She's at the Globe. She started a Beautiful Resistance. Sheena Collier, Boston While Black. Who else? Pro Black, muralist, artist. Liz. Wow, Liz was one of the first people on Liz Miranda. Who else?
Shout out to Liz too. Vote is today. I think she already won, but still, shout out to Liz.
It
was the Hennessy toast.
Yes.
That's why she won. I mean,
she's leveled up since then.
A whole lot of leveling up since then. She's a whole state senator now. But
Jamil from Lace.
Shout out to Jamil.
Yeah, so man, the list goes on.
So you really highlighted people doing, everything from just entrepreneurs, restaurant owners, people, community engagement, civic leaders. And I think that's honestly been such a great thing because, like you said, some of these people just go unnoticed. They're not asking for credit, but when they're giving it in the form of a dinner, getting to invite some of their closest friends, and have a dinner in their honor, I saw on their looks on their faces, it meant a lot. Yeah. And I think that's definitely awesome.
And it meant a lot to me too. Like, I'm a giver in general, so like being able to provide those dinners and the plaques and the engraved bottles, like it meant a lot to me too.
Right after this, if you want to do another dinner, a privileged toast to me and the crew here, Fogo de Chao, yeah, we'll do that, and also give up your sneaker plug too, since you're in the giving mood. But honestly, you've been able to do, Hennessy has allowed you to get back to the community. It's allowed you, obviously, to grow sales and leverage relationships in the nightlife space. But it's also provided some incredible perks being able to travel around the country to some of these huge events. Super Bowl. I seen you in France at Cognac, or I don't even know where you was.
I've been to Cognac 3 times now.
And people don't know what people think, like, oh, you've been to Cognac? What, like the Cognac in the aisle in the liquor store? Like, no, like Cognac is a place.
Yes.
And I didn't know that until you posted that.
Right, so Cognac, France. So Cognac can only be called Cognac if it's made in Cognac, France. Wow. Otherwise, it's brandy.
See, I didn't know that.
It's just like champagne can only be called champagne if it's made in Champagne, France. Otherwise, it's sparkling wine.
I'm saying we dropping knowledge on your heads today. I didn't know none of that.
Yeah, so
I'm still drinking Zima. You know what I'm saying? I can't afford cognac, fake champagne. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but you've gotten educated in that space.
Absolutely.
But not just like on the computer. Like you've literally been to these places.
Like I've been there. I've seen the grapes where they make, the factories, like the process, the history, the tasting room.
And I think I was with you when the president or the owner of
Maurice Hennessy at the time. We went on
some boat I was on. I even got some residual perks just working some of these Hennessy events.
Le Mariage, I think, or something like, I can't remember
some
the name
boat.
of the boat.
It was like a sailboat.
Yeah, it was a sailboat.
Like Christopher Columbus was on it or something like that. That's when they birthed the first Hennessy to America on that boat. I was a little scared. I was happy the boat was down. It was all wooden. I'm like, I was expecting a yacht, but they brought out
You've been around for a long time.
Yeah, And again,
you've been with me on the journey.
That's what I'm saying. And I've yet to go to Cognac or champagne.
So let me give you a quick shout out.
Okay, thank you.
Beyond just meeting each other in the nightlife space, I feel like you started behind the camera around the same time, maybe a little bit later. And I started booking you to cover parties for me. And then later on, photography, which is another, which started off as a hobby, you made a career out of. So I appreciate you for always I
did your wedding.
You did my wedding, and you've done multiple weddings since. We keep David H. busy.
Yeah, for real. Honestly, it's like my #1 employer right here. So it's like my obligation to have you on this show. You know what I'm saying? This is the least I could do is help spread anything that you got going on because, honestly, for those that don't know, like I said at the beginning of the show, we've known each other for a long time, but I honestly grew in this space of video production, photography, in part because of you. I got to go to Cali for the first time because of you. Relationships. We were at house parties at Pleasure Peace House.
Up in the hills.
Exactly, with Snoop Dogg.
Oh man,
Kelly Rowland was there.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, wow, I got the video.
That was a night.
You was eating too much chicken at Roscoe's. You said you wasn't hungry.
I wasn't hungry.
We got the video. We're gonna play it during this episode because those were times, man.
Oh man, wow, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I think it goes back to you just being a sincere person and just always introducing people who you work with to other people to allow them to grow.
I think it's crucial. I mean, it's like, if I can't put other people on, then what's the point of me doing what I'm doing? I try to just keep any opportunity that comes, I hear it, and if I know someone personally, I'm trying to make the connection right away. And of course, I'm not looking for anything in return. I'm happy that I was able to make it happen.
Maybe some photos of you looking fly.
A little content,
I was going to touch your hair, but you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody knows you don't have hair. I have hair. I don't know if people know that, but Anyway, we're going to move on. Now, as if you weren't busy enough, Hennessy, successful nightlife events, you also went ahead and decided, I've done enough work in other people's spaces. It's time for me to get my own space.
Yeah.
And congratulations on doing just that in the space that we're in right now. It's called HUE. And again, just tell the people how you got into this and why you wanted to be a part of something to have your own space.
It's always been a passion. Like, it's always been a dream. Like, since I was at Blue Wave, you know, not only did I promote there, I ended up bartending there and then became a bar manager.
Used to make drinks?
Yeah. I could do a little,
let's not revisit that.
Listen, if I have to jump behind the bar back here on a busy night, I'll do it.
Okay, anyway, all right, good.
Yeah, it's just like, and since then, I've always wanted to, you know, it's just something that, again, the opportunity to bring people together.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can get people in the building.
Yep.
I know how to run a business. So it was just like a natural progression for me. And not only that, like, the city is so lacking in ownership when it comes to people of color, especially like in Boston. Like, we're in Back Bay. Like, this is huge.
Yeah, and it's not to like throw shade at, you know, generally, I think people have a stigma of like when we open a business, it's in a certain location.
Correct.
And obviously, we want our businesses to also be in our community, but in order to, you know, truly diversify a city, we can't just be in our own city, like in our own parts of town. We got to be in our parts of town, but we also need to be all in Boston, in a space like Back Bay. So it's major that you were able to just open such a wonderful, magnificent looking space in the city, and just talk about how that feels to know like we're weeks away from the grand opening. But how does it feel?
It's still surreal to me.
Yeah.
You know, even the opportunity, the way it came was like, you know, it wasn't expected.
Yep.
And then the partnership, my partners on this project, we have like a dream team.
Yep.
George is one of my partners, the owner at Bijou. Committee, Eva on Newberry Street. He's one of my partners.
So you got some strong experience behind it too.
Yep. And then my other partner, Nick, and his brother Steven. Nick and I became super close over the past few years. Worked out together. And then during quarantine.
Shout out to Nick. I can't wait to see him doing his dance moves down here.
Yeah, Nick and I, like, during quarantine, ended up literally working out every day together. I think I was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah. We'll get back there, don't worry.
Yeah, and then, you know, I really talked to him about wanting to do this. And then his brother Steven is one of those, like, all right, what can we do to make this happen? And then we aggressively started looking. And then this opportunity, ironically, kind of fell in our lap. And then we just pushed forward. Maurice Rodriguez is going to be our GM. I worked with him when he was at the W. This is while I was at Team Hennessy. He helped me accomplish a lot over there, actually. We were able to get Hennessy VSOP in the mini bars in their rooms.
Wow.
I don't think any hotel in Massachusetts ever did that before. So yeah, so full circle, you know, now we're working together here. Yeah, I'm excited, and I can't believe it's just a matter of time at this point.
Again, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but just really walk through what the HUE experience will be when people come here.
So upstairs, as I mentioned, will serve as a lobby bar. We are in a hotel. You know, we'll be the only food and beverage in the building, so there's no room service available. If a guest is here and they want something to eat or drink, they'll have to come see us, either upstairs or down. Then we also want to target whoever works in the area. It used to be super popular after work crowd at what it was previously. So we're hoping to bring that back. And then down here, I call it vibe dining, or, you know, high energy dining. So you come down, you eat, you drink. There'll either be a DJ or some type of live entertainment. And, you know, as the night progresses from 5 to 2 a.m., the lights will get lower and the music will get louder, and, you know, it just turned into a party. So
and that's dope, man.
The ultimate, you know, supper club, so to say.
Yeah, and we have multiple locations. Again, we'll come back and do a full tour when everything is fully prepped. But I mean, we're in what we call the main dining space.
This is the supper club.
The supper club. Where, I mean, clearly the capacity is gonna be a lot. You know what I'm saying? In terms of being able to get a table here. Hopefully, I'm gonna get, you know, a VIP table here somewhere. But no, I mean, it's ample seating. I mean, the decor is amazing.
Thank you.
You know, and there's other areas in here too.
Yes.
That are going to serve for different purposes.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
I can go into it. So our speakeasy / lounge would be a little bit more informal, kind of. So this room you'll need a reservation to get a table. That one, as you come in, you probably won't do reservations. Just first come, first serve. We'll do more of a mixology focus in that room. Drinks will take maybe like a few minutes to make versus like a speed pour in the side. And then we also have a private lounge in the back. Holds maybe 12 to 15 people. Instead of a private dining room, we decided to do something a little bit different. Every place does a dining room. This is more like a chill, have your own bartender, TV in the back, sound. So, you know, if you just want to have a little party for yourself, you know, there you go. You have an intimate setting. So yeah, again, I'm just excited, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I know it's going to go well because everything you touch goes well.
Thank you.
You know,
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. But you know, I think that you got good partners, you got great experience, and I mean, you got the support of the people. You know what I think?
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. And that's important.
I think that, you know, I've given so much in the community, like throughout my career, everything that I've done, the people I've met, I've tried to be supportive. And I think, you know, it'll all come back full circle.
And it's time. So let me look direct the camera on this one. For all the times that you've called Rob, asked him to get in a party free, whether it was a boat cruise, whether it was Blue Wave or Bijou or La Fabrica or whatever, Blue Wave, even some of y'all.
We even get to talk about Kenny and Privé.
Yeah, well, we can go into that real quick.
All right.
Or at Privé. do Rob a favor. He's done so much for all of us, you know, and we know this. Come support HUE. Don't ask to get in free.
It's gonna be free anyway. We're not doing cup
it's gonna be free to get in, but don't be asking for no free drinks. Don't come down here, looking for some extra food or something like that. We gotta come support this man because he supported us, me, myself included, for so many years in the city, period. And he's got a wealth of experience and hard workers behind him, and we gotta make this place blow up, figuratively, and make it super successful because you deserve it, man.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
I appreciate that.
And I really want you to win. And again, however I can do it, whatever I can do on my part, I want to do that. The last job I want to talk about, which I know is one that you hold in super high regard, and I mean, we can call it a job, but it's, you know, a labor of love, is being a father.
Yeah.
And talk about what fatherhood means to you and how it's changed you. Man. This is my Barbara Walters moment where we zoom in the camera and Rob starts crying because he's mad emotional. So I'm like this.
No, I definitely take pride in being a girl dad. As many different jobs as you describe and all the different things that I do, I'm definitely best at being a father. Like, you know, no matter what kind of night I've had, I always get up and make sure, like, whatever comes to my kids, it's all like, I'm never gonna say I can't take you to school or can you do that. I'm up. If I have to make breakfast, I gotta go, whatever, like, hands down, like, that's one thing I'll never drop the ball on. So but yeah, I mean,
and why is that important to you though? Because I mean, obviously a lot of people have birthed children, and you know, I think as fathers too, sometimes, you know, black fathers sometimes get unfortunately stereotyped as being absent.
Yeah.
But I think, you know,
and I feel like that stereotype is not as much the case anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody in another interview talk about, like, we're one of the first generations, like us, and probably the one right after us, to be present in our children's lives, and also recognize, like, self-healing and talk, like, openly talk about our traumas, which I think helps us acknowledge our emotions more as men.
And then also holding your friends and other people accountable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna hang out with a deadbeat dad. I don't care. Like, you know, no matter what's going on, like, I want my kids to know that I'm always there for them, no matter what's happening. Like, school events, like before quarantine, when parents were chaperoning, I volunteered for all that. Like, I wanted all the kids to know who I was.
Was it because you wanted to be like, oh, look at, I'm the cool dad at the PTA, showing off your Jordan 1s?
This was more so that, well, raising young women, I want the boys to know who their dad is. Like, I'm present. And you're gonna have to go through me to get to my children. Like, So that was more so the case, and then also like I'm sure that it felt good to them to have me there, and just wanting to be a part of those things. So,
and I'm sure it's also a benefit that your dad is just naturally cool, like you know what I mean, and he's a world traveler.
It's funny because my daughter who's in high school, she's like, some of the boys in my class follow you, which I think is high school what?
Yeah, and shout out to your daughter who had one of the coolest parties ever.
I mean, that was important to us to do for her because she's like very introverted. Like she's not the most outgoing, and to see her having a good time and to have all those kids from her class show up was like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was such a big day for her. Yeah. So I'm glad we were able to do that.
Well, again, shout out to you, just for being committed to fatherhood, and again, not because anybody's forcing you to, because you're choosing to, because you just make it a priority. And I do think it's super important for all of us to do that and to show that. And I think that is inspirational. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
and
people see that and they want to
my
emulate
biggest
it.
cheerleaders too.
Yeah.
They both wore silk t-shirt and sweatshirt to school this week.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow. Shout out to them. I couldn't even get no.
There's a whole merch table there.
Damn.
See, don't be that guy that I didn't get a free one, so I didn't get one.
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
Oh, okay.
They took me in the back entrance, something like that. But no, man. I mean, as we wrap up again, man, I just want to thank you for what you've done for the city, but also for me personally. Like I said, we've worked together for so many years. We've known each other, and again, you've always been sincere, always been just easy to talk to, whether it's for personal stuff or just work, providing work, and giving me opportunities to grow in a space where, again, like I wasn't like naturally going that way, and it just kind of happened for me, but because of you, so much more has happened. It's a domino effect. You know what I mean? I was able to capitalize on being able to film at your events, and turn that into a wedding business as early on as doing your wedding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then doing family photos for you, and being able to use that as promotion, and then working with your wife and doing photos for her, or just her allowing me to use her space. And it's just been a family affair, and I definitely consider you family, and I'm super proud of you.
Thank you,
for everything that you've done and for everything that you still can and will do.
Thank you.
Especially with the place that we're in right now. So once again, tell everybody where it's located and how they can, get more involved with you and the place in general.
So HUE Boston, located at the corner of Exeter and Huntington, or Huntington and Exeter, I should say, located in the Copper Square Hotel.
Yep.
We're targeting for a December opening, keeping our fingers crossed. The website will be hueboston.com when it's up, and Instagram will be HUE Back Bay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we look forward to eating here and trying everything on the menu. And I can't wait for it to open. And again, thank you for so much for especially allowing us into the space before you open and get a sneak peek at it. And I'm telling you guys, make sure you get your reservations early, because it's going to be packed. Because again, I told you, this man knows everybody. So everybody naturally is going to come out and support. But it's been a pleasure having you right here on the clearance rack. Don't be a stranger. Come back anytime. I mean, well, not anytime. You know what I'm saying? Don't just like show up during an interview. You know what I'm saying? But no, honestly, anytime. It's always a pleasure to have you. And again, we're always going to continue to support you, man.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you coming through.
Thank you, bro.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. I can put this down now. Another successful episode of the Clearance Rack Podcast. My name is David H. And again, all I ask for you is to support us in a couple of ways. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Let us know some more people who you may want to see on the show, and we'll try to make it happen. We're here for you, and we're going to keep at it. Again, until the next episode, it's your boy David H. Thank you for tuning in right here at the Clearance Rack.